Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. This is your Ebola update. Now, you know what? The World Health Organization delayed quite a long time in declaring this an international emergency. Let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at what's going on. First off, uh, this article right here. Where is it? Give me a second. Anyway, they held off declaring it an international concern. Now it's an international concern. The health organizations declared it an international emergency, uh, and so now they can get more funding to help fight this. But it's in a country where there's war going on, and this country that it's in, there's an awful lot of people that are refugees from this country. That's the Democratic Republic of the Congo. And now there's a very troubling new uh, problem that's arisen. I'll call it a problem. Is somebody has come down with Ebola. Let's take a look at the article here. First Ebola case in the African border metropolis could be a game changer. The first case of Ebola was diagnosed in Goma, a city in the Democratic Republic. Now, an awful lot of people say, well, why is this so bad? Just one person has it in Goma. And I'll tell you the reasons why. First off, depending on who's reporting on this story, some people say there's 2 million people in Goma, some people say there's 1 million people in Goma, but there's a lot of people in Goma. And another thing is the houses and the people are concentrated in very tightly. They're packed. It's a very tightly packed city. It's at home to at least 1 million people, and it has an international airport. Okay, so we got all that information. Let's take a look at Goma. Okay, here's Goma. We're gonna home in. This is the city right here in red. I'm coming down from the satellite to take a look at it. And we're just going to pick no particular place, but we're just going to come down someplace in the city, but it's all about the same. If we go across the city, you'll see that it's all pretty much the same no matter where you go in the city. So we'll just go down here, right here, and we'll take a closer look. Now we're descending down upon the houses in Goma, and this will give you an idea what it's like. The whole city's like this. And you notice that the houses aren't very big. It looks like a lot of them have tin roofs. And the houses, now look how close together the houses are. You know, if a kid was athletic, he could jump between roofs from one house to another. You know, that's how close the roofs are together. Now, you know, in our country, the houses have a space between them of maybe 100 yards or maybe even bigger, maybe a quarter mile between each house. Not here in Goma. If what you notice is this is packed in really tight together, and what you're going to find is these poor nations in Africa, when people live in a house, you have sometimes multiple families living in one house. And even if you do have the same family, generally kids have to share bedrooms. The people are packed really tight into these homes. There's a lot of people. High density of population is the words I'm looking for. What it means is how many people live in 1 square mile. Goma is a very, very tightly, densely packed city. As we zoom out and you take a look here, you can see how densely packed. If I move down in here again, in no particular order, these houses, you can see how these blocks, these city blocks, how densely packed in the houses are, how tight together the houses are knit together. There's no vacant fields, or well, there is a few. Like, it looks like here's a vacant field right here. Looks like a baseball field, to tell you the truth, honest to goodness, or some sort of a little flea market or something. But then we move on here, and you can see the houses are all tightly packed in together again. And so we have a densely packed population. That's one of the reasons why, and over 1 million people, as we zoom out, you can see look how big, huge, huge, huge it is, Goma. Now, one person's come into the city, and he's had Ebola. They're trying to track down everybody he had contact with. But it's kind of difficult because, when a person's wandering through a city, he might go over to the pop machine. A kid might come over and look at him while he's getting the soda pop out of the machine at the bus station. And then he might go over and he might talk to a couple people sitting on a park bench. And all of that's forgotten. Meanwhile, they track down everybody that's on the bus. Well, he might have talked to people that weren't on the bus and stuff. All you need to have is a couple people that he talked to come down with it later, and then all of a sudden it gets loose. If it can get loose like that, these are horrific in a densely populated city like this. What could happen could be horrific. The way I see it, with one person showing up with this disease in this city, even if they stop it, this country is growing. The population of the people who have this disease are growing. It's only a matter of time if they don't get this stopped before it makes its way into a major metropolitan area, and with it's densely packed with houses and stuff like Goma is. Maybe not Goma in particular. They might be able to escape this. But the longer this disease goes on, the more the chances occur of a situation happening where the disease actually starts to get out of control. Well, it's already out of control. But I'm talking about out of control in a densely populated area that has an international airport. You know what I mean? And so this is what we're facing with this disease. The longer they go without getting this disease eradicated, the more danger it is that it could spread to other places besides just the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So listen, thank you guys for listening. This has been your updated report. I hope maybe in the next report I can have some good news for you guys. That would be nice. But in this case, this disease is on the upswing. Right now, more people are catching it rather than less. It'd be nice when we finally get to the point, maybe a few months from now, where I can say, hey, you know what? They're starting to get it under control. But we're not to that point yet. We have to wait for that point. And how big is this going to spread before we finally do get to that point? That's a big question mark. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye. Say, hey, you know what? They're starting to get it under control. But we're not to that point yet. We have to wait for that point. And how big is this going to spread before we finally do get to that point? That's a big question mark. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys in the very next show. Bye-bye.